Good morning and welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show. I'm Josh.
I'm Jenna.
And today, I'm back. It's been a little while.
It has been a while.
I've kind of missed the morning show and I've missed all of our viewers here, but I'm excited for today's episode. I know that you've been stepping through a lot of trends because we consider ourselves still at the beginning of 2018 from the standpoint of capitalizing on trends.
Right.
Today, specifically, we're going to talk about print trends and heat printing and maybe some real-life examples and techniques that you can take out to your customer for the balance of this year. And all of that's going to build upon some previous episodes that you have done talking about some of the apparel trends and then in the categories we're going to go through.
Right, and over the past couple weeks, if you joined us on the last morning show, Bob and I went over all of the garment trends. So if you didn't get to see what's new from a lot of our apparel suppliers, be sure to check that out. And then I actually did some printing just last week so that you can see a lot of the techniques that went into a lot of the stuff that was built for what we're going to be showing you today.
Okay, lots of details to go through. First, if you're watching live here, if you don't mind shouting out where you're watching from, we always like seeing who's online and where you're watching from. We appreciate those that haven't caught the show in a while and are back. We're excited as well.
Yeah, welcome back, Sharon.
And let's do our look of the week.
All right, so this look was brought to us by Anne-Marie Vallier, and this was done on our new printable glitter.
Yeah, the printable glitter is one of those products that we've been keeping a secret for a long time before it's launched in the development labs of Stahls, and it really delivers a lot of opportunity to a business. So as you can see here, multiple colors of glitter. It starts white, rainbow white, I should say, and then Anne-Marie has printed the orange in the sort of periwinkle blue color, as well as the black, or maybe even reverse weeded out the black to let the garment show through. I'm not sure on that design, but the idea is I can get all of these colors into a single eco-solvent or solvent printable glitter for application onto apparel with a single step hit. So pretty cool result.
Right, and so this is something that you can definitely do in-house. If you don't have an eco-solvent printer in-house, this is something that Stahls also offers through our services department. So if you have artwork that you want done in all glitter, you can just send us it there and we can send it to you as a transfer.
Okay, I have to ask. I see Mona's Creations tuning in. Aloha from Maui. What time is it in Maui? I think it's 6 hours difference if memory serves me right. If you don't mind chatting in the time there, I'd love to know how early you're up. To watch the morning show in Maui. We appreciate you joining us. So that was our look of the week. Every week we do a look of the week, every other week now when we air the morning show. But you can always submit those. We pick from the looks that are submitted to the Stahls Show and Tell on our Facebook page, or you can tag us on Instagram or email those over to Stahls TV to be included. We always appreciate your contributions. It helps us to share what's happening and learn from all of the looks that are coming in.
Yeah, it's always good to see what people are creating these days. All right, so that kind of takes us to what we are seeing creation-wise for print trends for 2018, specifically for spring. And for corporate, we've seen a lot of apparel innovation in that they're bringing in a lot of different fabric types that are typically hard to print on a heat press. And some decorators are steering away from that because they don't want to damage any of the apparel, but there are definitely some solutions that we want to point out so that you guys can still offer what's new to your customers.
Yeah, and I attended the ISS Long Beach show, as did you, back in January. And as part of attending the show, I always make the rounds to the different blank apparel vendors to kind of see what's happening and to shake hands and talk about 2018. And interesting enough, Sanmar, and just conversations with them, has identified heat printing as one of the top solutions in demand by their corporate style clients that are decorating corporate apparel because of the variety of styles, looks, techniques that you can execute even at small quantities. And so we're seeing the trending of tough to decorate fabrics where often heat printing is the most viable solution. So you owning a heat press as an apparel decorator gives you a lot of opportunities. So let's talk through some specific ways that we can take our heat press, execute looks onto corporate apparel, and follow what's happening in 2018.
Well, of course, we want to start out with being able to choose materials that are low temp. So we want to be able to apply those pieces of apparel at a low temperature so none of those fabrics are being scorched underneath that high heat. But not only do we want to take the transfer type into consideration, but the finish also. So anything that's matte, we want to stay away from any semi-gloss finish because it kind of gives it a plasticky look that's just not high-end and not something that local businesses or corporate like seeing their logo done in. So anything that's a matte finish and has a very minimalistic and simplistic look to it.
Yeah, a lot of demand for the matte finish. Even on our printable medias, I've heard feedback from customers that say, I want more of a matte finish, more of a matte finish when they're targeting corporate clients. It's almost like the extremes, right? You either want a matte finish if you're decorating a traditional logo, or you want super high gloss if you're going for kind of like something out of the box to show the customer something different. Sort of having that in between of semi-gloss on the graphic is the worst spot. You kind of want to target the two extremes of that. And so the other point you mentioned was a minimalistic design, and I know you created a sample here behind us that shows what you mean by that concept.
Right, so Sanmar did a good job in pointing this out whenever they offered a lot of the new apparel into their line, and they did a great job by showing that a lot of the hues are not very bright. They're more subdued. So the blush pink or the light heather gray that you're seeing in between Josh and I here is something that we're seeing a lot in corporate because they're going more towards an office cool look that incorporates a lot of athleisure. So we're going to see things that are subdued in hues like the blush pink and the light heathered gray.
Yeah, I like this look behind us. So you've taken a trending color, a blush pink or a light heather gray, and then you've taken a design concept where you've made the logo simplistic, so to speak. So it actually makes it really achievable with a lot of heat transfer vinyl or single color decoration techniques where you don't have to necessarily have a full color capability to be able to do things like this. And specifically on this look, what products did you use?
Okay, so for the jacket, we're seeing silicone because that gives us a high-end finish that takes matte up another step because it's more dimension and it just has a higher perceived value. It's what we're seeing logos done a lot in retail because it just has that high-end finish. And then on the t-shirt, we're just keeping it a basic matte material, and that is premium plus.
Okay, good. And just to talk a little more about silicone, because I think you hit on another big thing for corporate apparel, and that is just texture, dimension, kind of a different element to the logo, even if it's a simple left chest logo. And silicone has that rubbery texture and feel to it that's really in demand. Right now you see it on a lot of high-end athletic apparel. So I know that Sanmar has some North Face garments that they're selling or some New Era garments that they're selling where you'll see the brand logo is a silicone result. It's typically screen printed with silicone ink because they're manufactured in hundreds of thousands of pieces at a time. But the idea that now I can finish that in a corporate logo to match that original screen printed brand icon helps you just make a cohesive piece to present to a customer. So I think that's going to be a real theme when we talk through printing any type of apparel, making it as if the decoration was thought about or intended when the garment was manufactured.
Right, and with the new corporate apparel, they're incorporating a lot of athleisure, as we mentioned, because it fits into that office cool type of demographic, but also being able to print on dye sub garments. So athleisure has a lot of dye sub because they're using 100% polyester, and not only is silicone great for that, but so is the AquaTrue product that we offer also.
Yeah, and so there's a sample here just on more of a sportswear application, but just the idea that whether this is for a corporate logo where you have an AquaTrue transfer manufactured, it's one of the 21 new things from Transfer Express for 2018 that they have released. There's an archived webinar on their website on that, but AquaTrue is one of the hardest hitting products, I'd say, for 2018 because it applies to practically any fabric. It's a water-based transfer, so it's soft, it's stretchy. You get that super smooth matte finish out of it, and it can block sublimated dyes in fabrics like this, whether that's on a polo or a performance tee, whatever it may be. I can post-embellish sublimated fabrics and have no issues with that. But just before we leave the silicone point, because it'll do that for you too in a roll of CAD-CUT material, we have some questions coming in and some other things I want to address. I know that right now we do a 200 micron thickness silicone, so it's a little bit dimensional, but not the full raised texture that we're getting questions and requests from, but know that we do have a 500 micron thickness that's coming soon that we're working on in our product development labs and really at the point of manufacturing now to be able to create this super dimensional silicone product. And we've shown that sort of sneak peek at various trade shows, and people love that product. The question came in on a printable silicone. We're not there yet, but yeah, the idea that we'd be able to colorize silicone after it's manufactured is certainly on everybody's hit list, I'd say, out in the industry to get full color out of a raised dimensional rubbery product.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. I know we made some notes here. I just want to make sure we hit everything. So tone-on-tone finishes. We talked briefly about that, but we focused more on the simplistic logos and the sort of subdued hues in the apparel itself and the decoration. Let's expand a little bit more on tone-on-tone finishes, because I know we have a clear matte product and a clear gloss product that can either be printed or cut just on a vinyl cutter and heat applied. It's a great way to get a tone-on-tone finish when your garment is sort of, I'd say, middle of the road on shade, like a red, to darker, like a navy or a black. It shows up really well. But then there's the idea of how do I take these trending subdued shades and do tone on that, because the clear product really doesn't show up very well in these lighter shades.
Right, yeah, the clear will just kind of get lost in the lighter shades, so you want to go with another material that actually has opaqueness to it. So our fashion film does a great job with doing that because it comes in so many colors. So choosing the color of your heat transfer vinyl to either be a shade darker or a shade lighter than the garment that you're applying it to.
Good, and I want to point out the sample you have here because I really like the way this showed up. So you took that trending pink color. I think you said there's actually a name for that, isn't there?
It's called Millennial Pink, yeah. So whenever they did a trend report through Elle Magazine, and Sanmar actually shared it as well through their trend report, that this pink is actually considered a millennial pink.
So there you have it. The millennials have claimed that shade of pink, so we'll roll with it if it sells t-shirts. But you can see the rose gold fashion film on that light dusty pink shade shows up really nice, and the idea that selecting metallic colors for a tone-on-tone effect helps them stand out. As you saw when you were holding up the garment, it has that sort of shimmer effect to it, and it helps it stand out more, so the logo or the graphic becomes a little more recognizable from a further distance, which when you're doing corporate apparel, that's really the goal, is that you would get visibility of that corporate logo to make sure that the company that the person is working for stands out. So you don't want to
and
lose
now that you've brought up visibility is the type of placement that you're using as well. So you can see behind us we did a full front and a left chest, but other popular placements are, like you said earlier, the back of the shoulder or the sleeve of the garment too. So being able to take advantage of all of those print areas so that you can get someone's brand out there really speaks volumes.
The heat press is your secret weapon to competing with a lot of other decorating technology. Some you may even have in-house, but it lets you go into placements on apparel that other technology sets can't do very easily. So the idea that you would outfit your heat press with the proper attachments, or if you have a press that doesn't accept attachments, the idea that you would have pillows and pads and different things to insert into your garment to get the item flat, decorate top shoulder, decorate the cuff on the garment, decorate the collar. So just being creative with your placement zones when you merchandise products to your potential customer as part of the quote process is going to help separate your bid from everybody else and help you stand out and get that work.
I agree.
All right, so we got to move on. We're got a lot to say here. I know there's some questions rolling in, so I do want to take a look at that to make sure I'm not missing anything. Any thoughts on a leather look or a thicker HTV material for logos? Yeah, so we know dimension is key, so we will be exploring all sorts of new dimensional products to bring to you throughout the remainder of this year and heading into next year, 2019. And what brand is the shirt? Which particular shirt? This particular shirt.
This is Bella Canvas. Yeah, Bella Canvas, and it is a 50-50 shirt.
Okay. So
by the way, it's 6 a.m. in Maui.
6 a.m. in Maui. So yeah, definitely a morning
Committed.
show for you. Thank you for attending. Okay, so the next category we want to talk about, and keep the questions coming in if you have them. We'll stop several more times throughout this morning's episode, is the athletic apparel category or sportswear. So I guess walk us through some blank apparel trends that you've covered first.
Blank apparel trends for this, and there's a long list when it comes to manufacturers because they're so good at keeping up with what's new and what customers should be offering. But Pennant Sportswear is one that really stood out to me. They just offer a variety of different looks, from being able to print warm-ups to being able to print for fans. And then another one is BAW athletic wear, and also J America, which is actually the sportswear that is off to your right over there.
Okay. And with athletic wear, I know some of the things you wanted to point out here were large prints and unique placements, and I feel like we have a great sample of that that we can show.
Yeah, and again, it's all about what material that you want to choose for heat transfer vinyl wise, because you need to take into consideration what your apparel is being made up. So we have a lot of polyviscose that's being brought in, incorporated with spandex, 100% polyester. So choosing a heat transfer vinyl that's going to apply to those, and then just choosing a unique placement. So large, bold prints are very key whenever you're printing for certain brands, especially for athletic wear if you're printing for gyms or any other brand that's doing workout apparel. And this is just a couple examples of some unique placements that we're seeing. So we're down on the lower seam of our hoodie there, and then the back calf of the leg print there on the leggings.
And I love this because you could have easily taken this graphic and put it just standard placement across center chest, and it would have been a totally sellable item. It would have been a nice look. But just being able to make it, I guess giving it that cool factor and being able to just change the placement slightly and follow more of what we're seeing in sportswear retail, like you see with companies like Victoria's Secret that tend to lead that space. Their pink line makes that garment stand out so much more, and then matching that with the placement of the sort of back calf lower towards the ankle on the leggings makes a lot of sense. Why? Because you put that corporate logo on it, the last thing you want to do is lose visibility when somebody's walking the other direction. So the idea that we take that branding element, and when somebody wears this outfit, now we can see a front placement and we can see placement on the leggings on the back is something to think about when you're presenting athletic wear or corporate apparel. You want the logo to stand out. That's why you decorate it. So thinking about all of those unique placement zones. It's why North Face is known for their back shoulder print. Just gives you that something a little bit different. When somebody's wearing the jacket, you see the logo.
Right, and it's a big deal to be able to put that logo in unique places, because not only are they going to be wearing this outfit to the gym to work out, but athleisure is great in that you can wear it to your day-to-day activities and then to the gym. So they're not just wearing this to one place, so that brand is actually getting out there more than you think, because they're doing grocery shopping or whatever other day-to-day activities they do, and then going to the gym. So athleisure is great for a one-size-fits-all type of apparel.
Okay. And the when you talk through those the product chosen, it's Premium Plus. It's a product that we've had here at Stahls for many years. It comes in a pretty wide color palette of about 30-some colors. So you should be able to find a color that coordinates well on the apparel. But it applies, as you mentioned, at the 280 degrees, giving you that low temp application. Now, I know because we've been having posts in our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group, and if you're not a part of that, we'd strongly encourage you to apply to join that. You just have to be an apparel decorator to be a part of that group. But it's a great community with lots of sort of decorator to decorator interaction. But we've been seeing some photos of some Scorched Garments lately in sort of this athletic apparel or corporate apparel space. And I want to make sure we point out, because I feel like it could have gotten missed in our launches at the beginning of the year, we have a product called a heated lower platen that actually attaches to your clamshell machine if you have a Stahls machine, or your swing away machine if you have like an air swinger from Stahls. You load an attachment in where actually the bottom, it heats up, okay? And we program that for roughly 320 degrees, the top for 250 degrees. And now we have a sandwich of heat that allows us to reach the melting point of that adhesive quicker and with less damage to the top side of the garment, since it's coming from underneath. And so that's a really easy way to get rid of those scorch marks, assuming your item can fit on that 16 by 20 Platen for right now is the limitation. But we found that even on these tough to do tri-blends, it's completely eliminating the scorch mark.
Right. And that is going to do a lot for our decorators because of all the scorching problems that we're having. It's going to completely eliminate that, even heat press boxes. And it's going to actually speed up production a little bit as well because you're eliminating any moisture or wrinkles in the fabric as soon as you load it on too. So that's an extra step being taken out of your production.
Okay, good. So another question came in regarding a follow-up on the tone-on-tone, asking if a tone-on-tone Stahls logo, for instance, would work on the shirt I'm wearing, meaning the clear product. And I would be worried because of how light of a gray this shirt is. I would be worried that clear would effectively show up whether it's the gloss or a matte. So it would be a perfect candidate to use another tonal effect. So something like a, what would
Charcoal.
you pick? Yeah, I would
use charcoal fashion film on a shirt like that.
Yeah, a charcoal or even a metallic silver or reflective may work as well, but I think charcoal is the most obvious choice. So just like we picked a slightly darker shade on this color, we'd go slightly darker on this lighter shade. And this was Fashion Film Metallic Rose, one of the new colors in Fashion Film, because I know we got a question on that. Okay, next point I want to go into, because I love this shirt that you've created here, is using reflective into this athletic wear category. So talk us through this garment and the inspiration for it.
Okay, so a lot of apparel manufacturers are incorporating piping into their garments. So being able to utilize the piping into your graphics is going to go a long way. Not only are they doing the piping, but they're also incorporating little accents of reflective. So there's not a ton of reflective on that, but this is the perfect opportunity to be able to take a reflective material and go off of that. So what we did in the back was created piping with heat transfer vinyl. This is actually our reflective 2, and just did it across the back and then customized it just a little bit more with that metallic black fashion film that we offer also.
Yeah, and so not reflective as well in reflective 2, reflective number 2. And so we've released a new reflective material called Reflective 2, which is a better version of reflective than our previous reflective. We're actually clearancing out the previous reflective at this time, and so Reflective 2 will be the new reflective from Stahls. Easier to heat apply, easier to cut, easier to weed, 40% less than our old version of reflective, which makes it a lot easier to use and have a similar cost standpoint as a basic heat transfer material to get that sort of look. So we see that as being tremendously popular. It's not going to be ANSI certified like our 3M reflective, but for fashion sort of sportswear looks, it's going to be a great product to add to your business.
Yeah, so not only is Reflective 2 very popular for our athletic wear, but also for corporate as well. So you do get into your local businesses that do require the ANSI certification, but a lot of local businesses are using it as just another way to upsell their garments and being able to add another type of special effect finish on there.
Okay, good. Keep the questions coming in. I think I don't have a good answer for you, Patty, on time frame on the Fusion, Platen being compatible with the Fusion. Just so you know, the reason it's not compatible with the Fusion is because that press has the drawer that pulls out, and that creates a safety risk with that interchangeable lower heated Platen. And so we'll just stay tuned to Hotronix development work there, and I'll do my best to try to get a time frame, but I don't have one today, unfortunately. Any other questions, Taylor, that we missed on up through the chain there? Okay, so I think we're free and clear. So the last thing we want to talk about is the school spirit wear segment, so printing for groups and school clubs, because I know this is one of the largest customer segments for folks that are watching today. Now, I realize they could use any of these things and make it translate to schools, but anything else specifically that you want to cover for schools?
Well, when it comes to spirit wear, they're definitely using a lot of special effect materials, but sometimes it's a little difficult to reach different demographics because you have the male and female in there, and sometimes it can be a little hard to choose a heat transfer vinyl that is special effect that will fit all of them. But for example, the one that you're seeing to my right here, this is Fashion Film Electric and Metallic being paired together on that. So we did the striping in the back to reiterate. We were talking about the piping that is very popular. So just being able to incorporate that into your designs will go a long way, especially if the garment doesn't have it. Now this garment is popular itself because it has the scuba neck or that cow neck style, and then it has the vintage hemline right here. But being able to play off of that a little bit by adding just a little more into your design goes a long way. So we did the piping with the metallic black in the back, and then just did a drop shadow with that fashion film electric blue, which I think is called jet blue.
Good. Yeah, so we have a 3-color result there, if I'm following along correctly. You have the black, metallic black from fashion film. That's another new color in the line next to the metallic rose. It's doing really well. That goes down first.
Right.
By the way, the metallic black and the metallic rose are at the same price as your basic fashion film colors, so you can easily go to those metallic shades just like you could silver or gold or Vegas gold, which are metallics in the fashion film line, for the same price point. And then electric is a little bit more of a premium price. I think it's about $1 more per yard cost-wise, and you're able to drop that on. So we know we can achieve 3 colors very easily if we're in that fashion film range, because we can tack the background layers for a couple seconds through the application.
Right. So not only is the fashion film metallic very popular, but so is adhesive and foil still. That still seems to be very sought after. Even whenever we're at trade shows, we get a lot of questions about how they can offer foil to their customers. All right, so this is done just by placing adhesive down and then placing a sheet of foil down on there.
Yeah, and I like the way you sort of create the split text effect. You've been doing a lot of different looks with the split text effect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just change colors. In this case, you did a single color, but you got a 2-color look with the reverse out on the bottom, which is kind of a cool way to approach it. Foil is a very affordable product, pretty easy to use once you get the hang of the light pressure on the first step and then heavy pressure on the foil step. We showed printable glitter earlier, but I know you wanted to highlight this for spirit wear because you can start to incorporate patterns and different things. This particular garment shows that, in that we were able to print this on the printable glitter product and incorporate a pattern into the background, incorporate a little bit of the tone-on-tone effect with the outline of the CHS text. It's actually printed in that same mint color that the garment is. And all of this, very easy to weed because I'm printing all of the detail. But it starts to show you how incorporating patterns into spirit wear is increasingly popular as well. Yeah,
so patterns go a long way, and one of the new patterns that we have started to incorporate is our Realtree patterns. So we launched this just in January, and it comes in over 10 different pattern types. So we're actually going to be printing this for you on the heat press so that you can see how the application is done. But there are a variety of different colorways that you can do if you are going with this style of Realtree pattern and then the original Realtree that they have always offered.
Yeah, so this is called Realtree Extra Color. So if you're on the website, any of these Realtree patterns, you can get them basic, okay, which is our express printable material, or you can get them glitter, which is the white sample I'm having showing here. You actually have a rainbow glitter. It's tough to pick up on camera, but it has a nice shimmer to it in person here. So you can get any of these across, and if you get the Realtree Extra Colors line, this is the same exact camouflage pattern, but we just offer, I don't know, 10 or 15 different colorways that you can pick in it. That way it becomes relevant to the particular school or group or color trend that you're wanting to hit. But for today, as you mentioned, we're going to actually do more of a tonal effect in the sportswear market. And we've taken this exact Realtree pattern here that comes to you. We've cut it in the positive. You can even see the Realtree logo printed in, so the customers know it is an authentic Realtree pattern. And weeded away the excess after it's been cut, and then we have to complete the masking process when we're working with these patterns. So I'm going to peel back the mask. It comes with the correct mask for the product you order. The basic express print gets our medium tack mask. The glitter requires a higher tack mask. It's basically a sticky back material that I'm going to lay down, and then I'm going to squeegee out. So I'm just going to take the squeegee from the center out. Try not to spill my water, that'd be bad. Try to make good contact here. Flip it over, and then I'm going to remove the backing from the material. And that creates a transfer. So if you're storing this, doing a bunch of them, I just bring the original mask backing back. I'm going to put it into place, and now I've created a transfer that's ready to go over to my heat press department to press. And so I am my heat press department, so let's head over to the Fusion. And Jenna, do you want to talk a little bit while I'm loading this black t-shirt on why you selected this color combination?
Yeah, so specifically to do a tone-on-tone print, we were going with a black t-shirt here. It's just 100% cotton. And then we're going to be actually pairing a single color transfer. It's our neon orange fashion film so that we can really bring out the pattern. So that's one of the best practices that we tell our decorators or our customers that are doing the decoration with patterns is to pair it with another material single color so that you're able to bring out the actual pattern itself.
Okay, so you did a neon orange, which will pop really nice off of the shirt. This is fashion film, so I'm only going to tack it for a couple seconds to get it to hold into place. Try to prevent the shrinking of the design. It releases very nicely without stretching out the shirt. And then, I know I was complaining a little bit when I saw this design was created for me for Make It Monday because the registration is really tight. So it's just giving me a challenge here. But the idea is that we should be able to take this Realtree pattern, drop it into place to register it. And because the fashion film doesn't shrink, you should be able to perfectly place that. And in this case, it worked out. So we got a nice outline. And we're going to press it for the full application. In this case, the Realtree pattern or the Express Print patterns applies from memory 320 degrees, 10 to 15 seconds, and it's going to be a warm to a hot peel. We're working with the Hotronix Fusion Iq, which is the latest version of the Fusion heat press it just released. And so it's tracking all of my actions at the press. I'm logged in under my user profile, so it's going to tell me if I have an issue at the press because I've over-applied it or under-applied it. So that new performance tracking is part of this new and improved Fusion Iq control board. And so you get the completed result. Looks awesome. So you get the authentic Realtree logo, you get the tonal effect, you get the pop of neon orange, which is very popular in the outdoors market as well. So it's kind of tying that outdoors into sportswear or spirit wear. And all of that is really easy to create. So if somebody wanted to experience these patterns, how do they go on and start creating?
Okay, so you can just go on the Stahls website. It's going to be under our CAD-CUT tab. There will be a drop down and patterns will be in that list of many CAD-CUT materials. But you just go on there, you choose which patterns you want to pick from. So we offer 4 different styles right now. We have the Realtree, we have the Spectra, Sparkleberry, and then the Creative, the Stahls Creative patterns.
Stahls Creative, you did pretty good. It felt like you were reaching for those last couple. But we have 4 collections now, and we'll be building on that. So all kinds of patterns and technology that's being built into that generator. So we'd encourage you to connect to that. Some last questions we're going to cover before we conclude today's episode. Does the bottom heated platen work with the Max 15 by 15? It technically should have the right mounting to attach to that. Whether or not there's going to be any issues in the back of the machine, I think it will work. But let me double check and respond to you. I want to double check with Hotronix, but I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work. You'll just have a bigger, lower heat than your top heat source. Love our foil products, thank you. Is it possible to layer reflective 2 on top of flock for logos? Flock is layerable. I don't know that we've tested that exact combination, but I can't see why not. However, having said that, it's something that our lab will probably release at a later date for compatibility,
Right.
but you can always try it. I think there's a high probability that it will work. Will you be able to upgrade the existing Fusions with the IQ? Yes, that's next step in the life cycle of Fusion IQ is to have an upgrade offer for those existing Fusion owners.
Right, and before we wrap up, I just want to make a quick mention of the showroom classes that we have coming up. So we actually have one this Wednesday, and we'll be hosting the how to complete guide to start heat printing team uniforms at our Texas, Corona, Arizona, and Florida locations. So if you are close to those locations, be sure to register on the Stahls website. We are doing this once a month, every month. We're calling it our Workshop Wednesday. So if you want to join us in the upcoming months, just be sure to visit that on the website.
So let's leave that up there for a second. You can see it's kind of small, but please visit stahls.com/Stahls-classes. And that's how you register for that. There is a small fee just to basically cover the cost of us doing the presentation and the stuff you'll walk away with from your hands-on time there. I know you helped put together this particular presentation, so what should somebody expect to learn in their complete guide to start heat printing team uniforms?
Well, you're definitely going to learn all of the basics there are to getting started as far as the best equipment you should have or bring in-house if you don't already have it. And then all of the trends. So not only is learning how to print jerseys correctly important, but being able to sell them. So being able to put the right type of materials on there and accent with the right styles of colors that reach that market right. So you'll learn all of that, some ROI information. You'll be able to do some hands-on with the expert they're teaching. So a lot of fun stuff. You'll definitely learn a lot and have a lot to take away from it.
Okay, and just to address the question that came in about would be nice to have one in the Northeast, we agree. Currently, our only Stahls showroom, I guess, would be Stahls TV in the Northeast. We're kind of in the very southwest corner of Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh, almost West Virginia, here at our Stahls TV studio. So we'll consider that for future ones. But for now, the timing's good because we have Atlantic City, ISS Atlantic City coming up in a few weeks where we'll have all kinds of classes and workshops. I believe the dates on that are is it 10th through 12th?
The show starts the 14th. Well, the workshop is the 14th and then 15th, 16th, 17th.
Okay, so if you go to issshows.com and click on Atlantic City, you'll see a full conference schedule. Stahls, we have a ton of classes there, including a full day workshop, so you can get a similar experience to what we're holding in our showrooms. But we're looking forward to your feedback on that. And then last question before we conclude. Unfortunately, we can't sub-license these Realtree patterns for you to print on your print cut machines. You will have to purchase the patterns printed from us because our licensing contract doesn't extend beyond that. But you certainly will be covered to be able to cut from these patterns, apply them, and sell apparel under our license with Realtree. All right. Thanks so much for attending the Stahls TV Morning Show. When's our next episode? 2 weeks.
2 weeks, or no, not 2 weeks. It'll be in 3 weeks actually, because we'll be in Michigan in a couple weeks.
Okay, yeah. So we're having our national sales meeting in Michigan in 2 weeks, where we'll do a lot of training for our internal team to make sure we're servicing you the best way possible. But the following week we'll be back with you here on the Stahls TV Morning Show. Thanks for watching.